Hello and welcome to the 39th episode of Peds' Game Shack. Today we have returning guest Kerr9000.
Hiya.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. A bit tired. I need a pee, but I meant to go before we started and I forgot, so I'm just gonna have to hold it in like a big boy. But yeah, I'm doing good. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're doing well. Um, we are here today to talk about a game called Tavern Talk. It is a um what
Sort
kind
of a
of
visual novel, I'd say.
yeah, it's like a visual novel with some gaming mechanics in that you make drinks. So if
Yeah.
you've been here before when we played Coffee Talk, if you've listened to the because it was called Coffee Talk, where you're a barista and you make coffee and tea and chai lattes and various other things for people. There's about 10 drinks or something for people. And this is a very similar kind of game, except for it's set in I would say a fantasy setting, but that was also a fantasy setting with vampires and so on and so forth. This is more of a like D&D kind of
Yeah.
setting in
I'd, s-
fantasy, old timey stuff.
I'd say Coffee Talk was modern times that just happened to have vampires and orcs and stuff, but it was very present deified, whereas this is like a D&D oldie worldy thing.
Yeah, exactly. I would. It's I think that's the big difference is just the setting because you have your fantasy characters in both because not everyone's a human. Like one of the things in Coffee Talk was the human was writing a novel about everyone being human and how
Yeah.
and like someone was saying in that like, oh, that's a bit thingy, saying only humans, and saying no, yes, but there's still going to be differences with different races of human and stuff like that, so it's not just what you think it is kind of thing. So there you go. Whereas this, what I've played of it doesn't, goes on a very different route
Yeah.
so far. Like it still has the emotional things, and it has like a trans character. It has which is Fable. It has like various different ways it tries to tug at your heartstrings with the wolf and the werewolf and so on and so forth. Like I'm not that far into. I'm only in Act 2, so like I'm not really in there. But from what I played of it so far, like it's you set it like in the other game in Coffee Talk. It's made by a different company. It's just similar premise, really.
Mm.
In that game, it's more about giving them the right drink uh for them to get on with a day, whereas in this, it's giving them the right drink so they can succeed in their quest. I don't know what happens if you fail a quest. I haven't
No,
found
I
that
don't seem
out.
to have failed. It just seems to be different ways you succeed. Like they succeed by sneaking or they succeed by going in all, fists and sword, but they always seem to succeed.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you give them the wrong drink, because he usually says you can either give them a drink that will increase their intelligence or their stealth or something, or one that will increase their toughness, but also make it fireproof or something because you can add
Yeah.
extra ingredients in this. Whereas I wonder if you just give them something that was good for like, oh, it can either be stealth or uh, defense, but you give them something that's good for their charisma. I wonder if they don't succeed and they just fail.
Yeah, I wish I'd have tried that, to be honest.
I'm gonna have to now.
Yeah.
Load up another save and go, let's have a look. May as well. Might be worth it.
I I do think, if I'd have not read into it and I'd not I could have believed it was made by the same people as Coffee Talk.
Yeah, it's such a similar game. Maybe they were inspired by Coffee Talk. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
which
reckon
came
so.
first.
Yeah, Coffee Talk, I think, came first.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of reading into this company. I know the next thing they want to do is a dragon romance simulator that's set in the same world as this, but they've done all sorts of things in the past, like kids' education games, um, things that look a bit SimCity-fied, basketball training manager. It's really a weird portfolio. There's a tactical based game, um, things that's supposed to teach pupils German economics and stuff. So,
Big variety of games then and
yeah.
software. Yeah, I didn't realize. In this, you seem to be a mysterious bartender, whereas in the other one, you're a mysterious barista. But what I like about it is when, like, one of the characters you're talking to, it's like, because it breaks the fourth wall quite a bit in this compared to Coffee Talk that I remember. And one of the characters comes in, it's like, there's no point saying much to this person. They just repeat the same phrase that they're programmed to say. And then you like answer with a different phrase to what they expect. I'm like, so they programmed me with more phrases. Stuff like that, which is pretty fun. Like, I've not met loads of characters. I've met um Fable, which is the first one. The rogue guy who seems to change his name every time he comes in. Last time I
Oh,
was,
yeah.
I can't remember what it was. Not Amethyst, but something beginning with A. Whereas
The
before that, it was
thief type.
Blaze. Before that,
Yeah.
it was something else. Um, the dwarf, the
Oh,
vampire,
yeah.
the cat
You met
girl,
Scully yet?
Scully. No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's a skeleton
Oh, that's awesome.
who who can remember being alive and then basically coming up out of the grave, but apparently most skeletons are supposed to be like feral, but he just carries on talking and wearing a top hat. He's
Yeah, I've put in a fair few hours. The thing is my Steam stats. I played for 9 hours. It's
yeah.
definitely not been played that long because I've like left it on when I've gone to do other stuff. But like I said, I'm only on chapter two. In the middle of trying to investigate. Like some of them are why the sky fell, the stars from the
Oh
sky
yeah.
fell. So I'm
I
still
think
fairly
that
early on.
carries on for a while because I think I'm further than you if I've met Scully and that, and I still don't really know why it fell. Um, but no, I think there's some really good characters in here. I like the vampire.
Yes.
I like Scully. The thief guy that keeps changing his name's pretty cool. The Melina, I think she's nice and funny, and I feel quite warm to her. There's nobody that I'm like, oh, they're flat or they don't deliver anything.
Yeah. And I think one thing is the characters are written well enough where the characters bounce well off each other. Like the dwarf whose name I forget and the vampire whose name I also forget. Them two
Alphonse is the
together,
vampire.
Alphonse, yeah, them two together are actually pretty funny because they're very very different.
Yeah, it's a very odd couple, isn't it?
Yeah,
The dwarf's very like serious and down to business and work, and the vampire's forgetful and a bit clumsy and a bit silly kind of thing.
exactly. And that's the thing. Like the dwarf is literally like, yes, it's just about money and earning stuff and getting all. Whereas the vampire's like, let's just have some fun. Once I get my cape back and some sunscreen.
Yeah, I like the sunscreen thing.
I have only just got the sunscreen, well, the saliva to do the sunscreen, so I'm assuming that they all goes well. But obviously, after I did it, the quest, a little bit of spoilers here. They she killed the wyvern. Um,
Yeah.
Kaelin, I think her name is something like that. Whereas I'm wondering if you do it in a different, because I picked whatever I picked was wrong. Maybe I should have not wrong, but the one I picked is like, yeah,
Yeah.
I had to kill it, and I'm thinking, I wonder if I did it differently, then she wouldn't have had to have killed the wyvern and just got the saliva by sneaking, getting her, and sneaking back out.
I mean, that's a good thing about the game is there's clearly a lot of replay value because you can do a lot of things in a lot of different ways, and it does get the old curiosity flowing of what would have happened, how would have things differed? Because you think like butterfly effect, if that creature's not killed, and how does she then interact with this person, and is the guilt not there? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I wonder how in depth it is. You'd
there's
have to
only one
play it
way
a
to.
lot to find
Yeah,
out, I
exactly. I was
suppose.
gonna say, there's
Yeah.
only one way to find out. Yeah.
But it's one of those games that I'd have loved this, like, back when I was in school and everyone was playing the same sort of games, and you'd go away and have your weekend, and then you'd meet up and talk about it after, because of the fact that you'd all have your own little tale that would be similar but different.
Yeah, in a strange way, while the internet's good for a lot of things, it's kind of spoiled that kind of thing. Because 90% of the time now, you'll just have people who go on the internet and they'll just get the information before they've done it. Especially
Yeah.
like I stream myself, so I can't really say like especially people watch streams. But like I either watch streams, I either stream. But when I watch streams, I tend not to watch games I haven't played. I'll like go in the channel and just do something else while I'm lurking there. So like I can just listen to bits and bobs occasionally because I don't want stuff spoiled for me. Terrible. But like you don't really get it. You get it like we've got G Arcade, for example. You do get a
Yeah.
community where you go on there and you have a chat about things, about like the differences that have happened in your version of the game to theirs. But a lot of the time you'll have it already. You'll have options which a lot of people will go, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to look at the best route or the best class and the best stats and the best this and the best that. And then you don't really get to have. And then everyone like min maxes. And it's not an everyone thing. I'm exaggerating a bit,
Yeah.
But it comes to the point where I think even though a lot of things are very diverse in the ways you can play them, I think most things you'll see will be very similar because they seem to like look at things to do the game the best they can, if that makes sense.
This has made me think, have you ever played the Walking Dead games, the, like, point and clicky style ones?
By Telltale,
Yeah, those ones.
I played 1 and 2.
I loved at the end of those how it would tell you the percentage of people who made a decision. It's like
Yeah,
50% of people let Bob die, 50% people saved Bob. I always found that really interesting because it's strange to see whether your morality and your thoughts kind of fall in line with everyone else, or if you've picked a really weird hill to die on. Or I wish more games did that. It's neat.
yeah. I know that like there are this like other games in the genre will do that kind of thing, but not many bigger games, like, which would be cool. I don't know how they'd implement it in some games, but it'd be cool to find out. Be interesting to see how, like Skyrim, for example, how many people sided with one, uh, I can't remember the Imperial and the people from Skyrim. I can't remember the names of the groups. I haven't played Skyrim for years. And when I played it as a stealthy assassin kind of person, which
Oh yeah.
in Oblivion I didn't. I played it very different. I just hacked everything to death, which is kind of
But
different.
Oblivion, oh, I loved that game. I did it 180 hours on my first playthrough. I
Uh,
couldn't come off it.
I played it for a bit and then I stopped playing it and I can't remember why. And then I went back to it and just kind of like went through the story quite quickly with doing some side stuff. But it was the same with there must have been a reason. It was the same with Fallout 3. I was
Yeah.
playing through it and I got to a point where it glitched and I couldn't use my right stick to turn because I was playing on the 360. So I couldn't
Oh
turn
wow.
left or right. I could only look up and down. So for a while, I tried playing it, just like clicking VATs as I'm walking to hopefully lock onto something to turn. And I
Oh
thought,
wow.
no, I can't do this. And I had to like reload a save for some reason. It was like I'd lost almost all my progress. That's the only save that
Oh
would
dear.
work. So I'm not sure if I just fully restarted. And again, I just went through mainly the story, doing some side stuff. The problem is with Bethesda games, like they're good, but the jank seems to get in the way for me and somehow break it. It's the same with Skyrim. I did this. It must just be Bethesda games. I did the same with Skyrim. I played it for a bit, enjoyed it, stopped, and then and then I came back to it a lot later and was like, and then I went through it and played through it. you know?
It's like a challenge of big complex games, isn't it? Because the more the world around you moves and the more things that happen, the more things can go wrong to crash it and bug it up.
Yeah,
Sort of simple linear games, if you can only go left or right, they'll be play tested to the point where every piece of ground's been trodden. Something like Fallout, Skyrim, where you can go any direction, do anything at any time, anything can come at you from any. There's so many calculations going on that you couldn't play test it for long enough to sort of discover every human possible cock up before releasing it.
yeah, exactly. But one of my favorite things of Skyrim was when I saw a video of the Thomas the Tank Engine mod for the
Oh
dragons.
yeah.
Better than Skyrim
Uh,
itself, huh? It was fun. Uh, yeah, so Tavern Talk anyway, as we've gone on a bit of a tangent as
just a
usual.
bit.
Yeah. Uh, Tavern Talk, like I need to play more of the game. Um, I don't know if I prefer it to Coffee Talk because I finished the first Coffee Talk. I didn't finish the second. I think it was taken off Game Pass, so I haven't played it.
Yeah.
I can't say I prefer it over that. One thing I do like is I like the whole D&D like setting because I like D&D. It's fun.
Yeah.
Um, and also I prefer making weird drinks to just normal coffee. More interesting. But
I'm about 7 hours into this, whereas I finished the two coffee talks. I think because I used to write and the central character of Coffee Talk was a writer,
mm,
and it just, sometimes a game appeals to you because you see something of yourself in it, and I
yeah.
don't think that's quite happened with this. But I still do think it's a blooming good game, and I'd really, recommend people to check it out, particularly if they like things in this sort of field.
Yeah, I would agree with that. To me, see, there's not one that I prefer over the other. They're both so similar. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, and I don't remember if Coffee Talk had the whole you can pick a few different options when you're speaking, or and I know that in Coffee Talk that you can have different endings depending on the drinks you give the people throughout the story.
yeah,
So, like the one who does the writing for me, her book didn't sell very well, and so on and so forth. But one of the things that you need to do in that is when she say, "No, I want my coffee to stay awake," and you're like, "No, you should really go to sleep." I made her the coffee to stay awake so she can carry on writing. Whereas I think the one of those choices going throughout is you make her a tea and she goes to sleep instead,
yeah,
and then she ends up writing a better book. No, well, it does better. I'm not saying she writes it better, but it's that kind of thing.
yeah. Which I thought was them trying to like teach you the value of taking time out and not burning out, sort of thing.
Yeah. Whereas in this, it seems to be doesn't it seems to be aiming for different um threads. Like it doesn't seem to be going for that kind of thing. It seems to be more about so far family and
Yeah.
accepting people for who they are. Really.
Which I mean, it's great to have that sort of message in games.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely. I can't agree with you more there. Um, what would you say about this game in general though? Recommend it to people? You would?
yeah, I definitely recommend it to people. I think I don't know about everyone else, but I like playing different types of games at once because they sort of give you different feelings. Like you'll have a shooter for the action, and this is a nice game to relax with. If you want to just like slowly play something and chill out and not be too engaged and not feel like frantic, you just want to play slowly and, take in then it's great. I think it's a real not. Or if you've played a lot of action game and you want a nice palate cleanser, it'd be fantastic for that sort of thing.
Yeah, lovely game. See, I say this, and I don't mean it insultingly. It'd be a nice game to play just before bed because you can relax more to it.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, it's boring, you'll fall asleep. It's more, it's a nice chill game. It's gonna be less adrenaline pumping than the last shooting game where you blow everyone's faces off and rip them to pieces. I'm thinking of Doom.
Yeah.
I was playing Doom Eternal the other day.
All right.
Yeah. Speaking of, you been up to much in the way of gaming recently?
Well, I've been playing Nino Kuni, and
Ah, you
but I'm about
mentioned,
25 hours
yeah.
into it.
Oh, nice. And it's a replay again. Several
Well,
replays, is there?
no, I did. I've played it a few times and dropped off about 5 hours into it on like the PS3 and stuff. But this is the farthest through it I've been. I just
Ah,
think it's
cracking.
worked for me better as a Switch game.
Ah,
And I've been playing
portable, like,
Fortnite, which is normal for me, and then I've been playing a lot of the boxing.
the Fist of the North
Uh,
Star.
yeah, a bit of that one and a bit of the fitness boxing as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Fortnite, I haven't really played much of recently. I haven't played it tidy for a while now, which I kind of gutted about because, like, I think I missed out on bloody Godzilla as a character.
yeah, you have.
Yeah, I kind of hit
And
the point where it was, uh,
there was a whole bit where you got to be Godzilla as well. If you got to a
yeah,
certain point
yeah,
on the map, you became Godzilla, and that was brilliant.
yeah. I bet it was. Gutted I didn't play it then, but I just haven't the last couple of seasons. I just haven't been asked to play it. I get like it's with Fortnite. I was like, yeah, before it became season based, I was playing it quite a lot. Then I think I played the first chapter or two. Is it chapter and season or season and chapter?
I can't remember which way round they do
Well,
it, but it's
I played the
confusing in
first
it
like
because
one or
it's
two seasons or chapters or whatever it was, and then I dropped off then and came back to it in chapter two, season two, something like that. Season two, chapter two, whichever way around there is. So I left it a while and then got back with it. But I used to play a lot with my kids mainly, and none of them seemed to play her as much. Even my youngest, who was really into Fortnite, for Christmas, he had a Meta Quest 3.
oh yeah.
And every day, as soon as he comes home from school until he goes to bed, he's on that VR. And I'm like, dude, you need to limit it. I'm gonna have to start taking it off him because it's getting on my nerves. Like yesterday, I was like, oh, I'm gonna stream, and then he's like, oh, can I play on my VR? I was like, fine, just play on your VR, play. And like, I could have still streamed, but I'd have him flinging about in front of me and stuff like that,
Yeah.
making loads of noise. So I thought I'll just leave it. You have fun. You have fun on your bloody VR playing Gorilla Tag with your friend. I said to the missus yesterday, it's like all those games he's got access to on there, Beat Saber, Power Wash Simulator as of today, because I grabbed him a 3-month trial of MetaQuest Plus, and
Oh,
of
cool.
all the games he has access to on there, he plays mainly Gorilla Tag, which is some weird game where you're gorillas with no feet, I don't think, and you use your arms to get around. So he's just there flailing his arms around. I'm just sitting there laughing at him because it looks like
Uh-huh.
I've not really watched until like we've played VR before, but I've never watched them just for a while playing something like that. And I said to the missus, like, yes, I said, he does look bloody stupid, doesn't he? And I think to myself, do I look that stupid when I'm playing VR? Uh,
I played on this King Kong VR arcade machine, and I
all
got my
right.
missus to record it, and like bugs are flying at your face and stuff, and you can see them, and it feels like they so you're there swatting, and then I watch the footage, and it is just you swatting at thin air, going mental, going. I think it's not possible to look dignified while doing VR.
No,
Everybody will look stupid, and you just have to run with it.
exactly.
Probably
But
better in your home though, instead of on a King Kong arcade machine in public.
well, if everyone's having a go and making themselves look foolish, it's probably not too bad. But yeah, I do enjoy playing on the VR. How are you finding the Fist of the North Star game then? Because it was obviously reduced to £4, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, the only thing that gets me is when you play the fitness boxing, you do punches and you do blocks as well.
Right.
And Fist of the North Star doesn't seem to have a blocking maneuver. When you punch and then enemies are going to punch you back, you punch the exact same way you were punching to block their punches. So you're like punching their fists, and I'm like, seems bizarre. Why don't they like have it as blocks? Because that would
Yeah.
feel more natural and make more sense that you're blocking somebody's incoming attacks instead of punching a punch. But oh well. Other than that, it's good because obviously you sort of forget the exercise, don't you? If you're fighting something and
Yeah.
it just becomes a game, and the more gamified it is, the more you'll do.
Yeah, it's one thing I like about Beat Saber is you're flailing about chopping up these things in VR, and it's just like it's tiring, but at the same time you're enjoying it because you're having fun listening to some
Yeah.
music, chopping up some things. There's some good games like that. And like I said, the more gamified it is, the more you don't mind doing it compared to just traditional exercise. It's like, oh, let's go for a jog because that's fun. I saw something before with VR. Like it's probably in arcades and stuff, but someone had a VR in the house, and it was like this big round stand thing they could stand on, so they were able to run around, and the thing under them would move.
Oh wow.
So they were able to like run in the game and stuff like that, and play it like as if they're in the game. And I was like, "Fuck, I want that. That looks cool." So it's like this big square thing with like a round bit in the middle, and it must move at like a I don't know how it works, but it works. Looked really cool.
That sounds awesome.
It does. Does sound awesome. Um, Anything else you've been playing, man?
No, I think that's about it, really.
Yeah, that's fair enough. To be honest, I haven't really played a lot of games. I've been playing a bit of Picross again because me and the missus enjoy playing Picross together, even though it
Yeah.
makes me feel like stupid sometimes. And other time I'm like, I haven't got a clue, and the missus just carries on with the puzzle and finishes it. I'm like, I helped. I did some of the squares. And then one game we finished recently was Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh yeah.
That was a good game. I'm surprised the missus played it with me though, because we played the first one. And not that she didn't enjoy it, I'm surprised she played the first one, is what I mean. Because I stuck it on and I thought, oh, it's kind of, an old school RPG style game in the vein of Baldur's Gate and so on and so forth. I'll stick it
Yeah.
on. She probably won't like it though, because she, I just didn't think she would, because it's like an RPG. And then we end up spending over 100 hours in that game.
Oh wow, cool.
In the first one. And then as soon as we finished the first one, we jumped straight into the second one and spent over 100 hours in there as well. So it's surprising how much we enjoyed it. I especially loved her thieving. She's naughty. She would always get her. I'd be in the middle of a conversation with an important NPC, and then all of a sudden, it stops because she's decided to try and steal something she wasn't allowed to take. And the person who was talking to me turns around and is like, "Hey, you, stop that." And then they'll just make me have to either redo the conversation, or well, that's it, the conversation's over because they pissed off or something. I don't bloody know. And the second one, I think it's just as good as the first one, really. I don't think I prefer it either, because I the second one seems to improve in some things like story and that, but like the first one, you could go to in the different chapters, you go to different areas, but you always get
Yeah.
access to all those areas. In the second one, when you finish the first chapter and go into the second one, you go to a new area, you can't go back. And then when you go to the third area, you can't go back to the other two.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of sucks, because it'd be good to go back and do
Yeah.
some of the
Must feel
quests
like a
you were
step
struggling with.
back.
Yeah. But there's some changes that it took a while to get adjusted to as well, with in the first game, it was like you do certain spells and it'd have a certain amount of chance of affecting them depending on certain stats. In the second game, it'd be the same. It would affect them depending on their shields. So it had a magic shield and a physical shield, which was different to the first game. You just had, I think you had a shield, maybe. I can't really remember any shields in the first game. But some things will be affected once the physical shield is completely removed. Other things will
Yeah.
be affected if the magic shield was completely removed. Whereas it'll always affect them if that happens. But if they got shield, then your skills won't have any effect. It'll just take some shield off or take some magic shield off, and it was kind of weird to get used to, and it took a good while. But and there were some points in the game where it was really fucking hard. It's like, right, we'll have to go and try and level up. Oh, we've killed everything we can. We've done all the quests. Let's try this again. And then we'd still be struggling. And then it's like, right, we'll just try again. And then we finally do it. And the final boss was a
I've
piss take, man.
I've found a few bits in Nino Kuni where I've been like skipping through, killing everything, no problem. And then you meet something and you're like, that seems darn near impossible. So you have to do the walk around in a circle, fight the same things again and again until you've gone up 2 levels and then try again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I say about Dark Souls. Is like, yeah, they're hard games, but they're RPGs. If you want, you can just go back to older areas and kill stuff over and over again to level up, then try the bosses again. Simple.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
like with Sekiro, it's different because it is not so RPG based. It's literally, to get better at the game, you need to improve your skills. And I dropped that game because it was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the way it is, isn't it? You know, sometimes games are just
Yeah.
a bit too much of a pain in the ass. I think it comes to how much enjoyment you get now. If you're not enjoying it, then there's just no point. You may as well move on.
Yeah, if it becomes a slog and you're just grinding through it, you get to the point where now it's too much trial and error and too I'm not having fun. I could move on to something else and be loving every minute of it.
Exactly. Another game I've been playing. Don't know if you've ever played it. The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction on the Xbox.
Years ago. Years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
I never played it. I played it recently. It's actually quite fun. That can have bits where I'm like, oh, this is quite tough. But generally speaking, it's just fun smashing shit. Head smash. That's quite
I
fun.
mean the Hulk is just a character that's brilliant for video games, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm
Something
surprised they
that
haven't
can
made more
smash through
games.
nearly everything,
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't made more, because I think the last couple of superhero games has been like Avengers, which was a gas game, or gas, whatever they say, gamers as a service,
Yeah.
which was all right. It was an okay game, but the games as a service part is what let it down, really. And I think you get that with a lot of games. I know. I enjoyed Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy when I played that, though. That was fun.
Yeah, I played some of that and it seemed pretty good. I probably should have stuck with it longer, but there's always something shiny jumping in front of you that, oh, well, look at that instead.
Yeah, that is the problem with games. There's just too many coming out now,
Yeah.
which 30 years ago I wouldn't have been complaining about. To be fair though,
No.
30 years ago it probably was not as many, but there was still probably a lot more games coming out than you realize. It's just when you have no fucking money because you're a child and you haven't bought for you
Yeah.
when you haven't bought for you, you don't realize so much, you know?
You're forced to play through the couple of games you've got because you're not getting another one for 4 months
Exactly.
till it's your birthday or whatever. Or
Exactly. And that's the thing. No, it's like try and get what you can. And things like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, stuff like that doesn't help with feeling like your backlog is just ever expanding. So there you go. Um, Anything else you'd like to add about Tavern Talk before we end, man?
No, just that I think it's well worth a try. If you've never played a visual novel, it's not the worst starting point. But if you have played a lot of them and you enjoy them, and particularly like the D&D sort of thing, it's a good game. It's well worth putting on your wish list.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a good fun game. Um, Obviously, it's a bit slower and a bit more relaxed than your typical game, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing to, as Kerr said earlier, palate cleanser between a lot of your adventure and action games. Or, as I said earlier, something to play before bed so you can relax and then doze off to sleep. But as it stands, I've enjoyed my time with it. I'm going to carry on. I say that sometimes I do carry on, and sometimes I don't because there's just so many games, and then it's like try to play games on stream, try to play games to review, try to play games for the
Yeah.
podcast. Just too many games. But there you go. Anyway, thanks so much for taking part, Kerr, dude.
You're very welcome.
Uh,
Really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did. Don't forget to plug your YouTube and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm Kerr9000 on YouTube and TikTok and pretty much anything else you can get on. Um, I heard something earlier and I really wanted to say it. Do you
Yeah.
remember when it was on adverts that you'd go into the newsagent and they'd be like, "This magazine available at all good news outlets"?
Yes.
I'd just like to say, Pedza's podcast available on all good podcasting places. So if you don't host this, you're by definition crap. Well, that's what the adverts were implying, weren't they? It was to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
like places stock it because oh,
Oh,
good retailers.
yeah, exactly. I remember. And it was very, most of the time, you'd have to go to a newsagent and request them to order it in because they wouldn't otherwise, because they don't get enough
If,
people going in.
if
Uh,
anybody wants to order and pay for another 400 podcasts, and you happen to be rich and you're listening to this, yeah, we'll be on your platform.
I agree with Kerr. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Okay, catch you later. Have a good one. And
See
everyone
ya.
who's listening, see you soon. We'll be back as soon as we can. I know it's supposed to be fortnightly, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. Take care, everyone, and bye bye.
Bye. Pedza's podcast available on all good podcasting places.